you very much. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Our first speaker in our second session of this afternoon will be Dr. Das. He works at the Environmental Agency here in Abu Dhabi, and he's concerned with and he will tell us about the plans for the Emirates to actually keep in control of the effects of economic development on the marine environment of the coastal areas of the Emirates. So please.
Thank you very much, Chair. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This presentation is going to be slightly different from the previous presentations you had, because our issue here, this paper deals with marine biodiversity of Abu Dhabi, where I am going to show you slides on the data collected for baseline information for the nuclear plant that is coming up in Abu Dhabi. This presentation, this data is for Abu Dhabi in general, but particularly for the place where thermal effluents will be drained into the sea. The thing is that, as you know, Abu Dhabi, this nuclear plant which is coming up in Al Baraka is going to be operational in 2017. We have various issues, but not application. This session deals with issues and applications, but I am going to show you biodiversity and issues related to that. And other aspect of the study, like we are still dealing with or consulting international experts on the issue of thermal cooling, discharged water and all these things. So those issues are there. In addition to the rich culture and heritage of UAE, we have rich biodiversity too. People from other parts of the world do not believe that we have so much under the sea. Terrestrial biodiversity is well known because it's easy to photograph or evidences are available, but for marine, it's bit less. I'm going to show you some of the things that we have been doing in Environment Agency Abu Dhabi. We have been assessing and monitoring marine biodiversity. There are several programs dealing with critical marine habitats and endangered species. So that is one of the things. And ecological abundance and distribution of those species, area calculation. So all kinds of ecological and biological studies of marine megafauna. Besides that, we are signatory to various international conventions, and those conventions have their MOUs and conservation management plans. We have been implementing those, and the actions under those MOUs include monitoring, biological data collection, including migration, genetics, ecological values, functions, economics. So all those things are being studied. We have, like in Marine Department, 85 staffs, excluding field staffs and field patrolling staffs. We have several management plans for different species and for different habitats, and we have been implementing those in under various programs. Our marine ecosystem is really in that threshold limit. There was an article in 2009 by Dr. Seyfert. It says the Gulf, a young sea in decline, because we have very high temperature. During summer, it goes up to 36 degrees centigrade. And in winter, it goes down to 16 to 17 degrees centigrade. It is highly salty. Salinity goes up to 50 ppt in open sea, and in parts 4,000, like 70 parts 4,000 in dredged areas or channels. We have high evapotranspiration rate. Temperature is high, means there is very less rainfall, no freshwater inflow. Besides that, the coastline alteration, like development, like rest of the world, we have development, but I think we are far ahead of that. And so it results in habitat loss, freshwater depreciation. So all those negative things are there due to human activities. And very few similar areas you will find in the world that exist with this much of environmental problem and so much of human activities. We have got several harmful algal bloom incidences that is happening in Abu Dhabi waters, and it's increasing year by year. Besides corals, coral bleaching is going on, corals are dying, and we have less number of species compared to Pacific or Atlantic. Seagrasses affected by lots of epiphytes. Key representative marine habitats. We have got 8 major habitats, and Wetland International has identified all 8 habitats as this thing. We have coral reefs, we have seagrass and seaweed beds. Coral reefs are at least 36 species of coral reefs, corals in Abu Dhabi and Dubai waters. We have seagrass and seaweeds, 3 species of seagrasses and over 35 species of seaweeds, mostly brown algae. Then 1 species of mangrove, that is Abyssinia marina, which is having stunted growth. It grows up to 7 feet, 7 to 8 feet maximum. Then rocky shores, sandy bottom lines. Then we have lagoons and tidal flats, so intertidal flats. And we have one unique habitat to this part of the world is Savka. That is the salt pan kind of thing. And those things, out of those 8 habitats, we have identified 4 critical habitats. Salt marshes intermingled with mangroves are very important for bird nesting and invertebrate nursery areas. We have seagrasses, second largest population of dugongs we have, and dugongs and sea turtles, they forays on that, and other ecosystem values, as you know, for seagrass areas. We have got mangroves that has means close to 150 square kilometer of mangroves, and corals where we have various species of fishes important for tourism and fish nursery ground. The thing is that we have done habitat mapping, we have developed coastal sensitivity atlas for marine pollution and any kind of marine activities, coastal activities. Besides that, we have protected areas that is developed to mitigate impacts of coastal development. Under endangered marine species, we have dugongs. We have like for 10 years, we have been doing work on dugongs. It's helicopter surveys, field surveys, satellite telemetry, genetics, all kinds of studies we have been doing on dugongs. And close to this upcoming nuclear plant, we have got high number of dugongs, and they graze on seagrasses occurring nearby. We have sea turtles, 2 species of sea turtles out of 7 global species, and hawksbill, critically endangered species, is there. We have got several foraging and nesting area monitoring programs, satellite telemetry, genetics. We also study dolphins, 3 species of dolphins in Abu Dhabi waters, though we have 6 in UAE waters. What we do, all these studies are supported by our seasonal aerial surveys and field surveys. We also investigate their cause of death. Distribution maps we usually develop to see the trend in population and trend in distribution pattern. And we study migration of turtles, migration of dugongs to see whether regional cooperation is necessary or not for these species. Similarly, for dugongs and turtles as their flagship as well as umbrella species, what we have done, we have developed that distribution map, and those maps have helped us developing or designing marine protected areas. Marine protected areas, we have got 3, 2 declared, 1 under proposal, marine protected areas, and those protected areas support corals, seagrasses, all kinds of critical habitats, and maximum percentage of that what is available in UAE, and maximum 82% of dugongs and 65% of foraging sea turtles occur within the protected areas. So design was in such a way that whatever happens, what kind of development is happening around, still we can protect these species in our water. And as you know, the water temperature goes up to 36 degrees. Coral bleaching is very common, and most of our, many coral patches are dead. We don't have live corals, and very few patches we have live corals. So we have started with artificial reef. We have tried with staghorn model. We have dome type, triangular, so hexagonal. So various types of artificial reefs we have selected, and it is under test in different parts of Abu Dhabi waters, where earlier there were corals, but now there are dead corals. So we are just trying to get back life and coral accumulation in those artificial reefs. And that is probably going to help us get back some of the life in those areas. And it's easy, artificial reef. This rehabilitation program we have started because this is relatively easy compared to coral relocation. We have got fisheries resource assessment, which is, again, the third one is going to come in 2013, end December. So maybe next year we will have fresh data. But look at this, in 25 years, we have lost almost 90% of fish resources. And that affects dolphin population. There are so many, and these resource mapping was done in very scientific way in all through UAE. So we have lost almost close to 90% of fisheries resources in Abu Dhabi waters because of high demand and obviously environmental condition. Fisheries management, we have got various regulations like traditional gears have to be used because net fishing, drill net fishing or drift net fishing banned because we get usually dolphins, turtles and dugongs in the net, and that's not the traditional way of fishing. There are 2-3 highly those traditional gears where fishermen are supposed to be there close to the net and protect these species, and that has been going on. This gargour, which is a traditional gear, is very popular here, and then many of these fishermen, they use this. We have got licensing system, we have limitation, we have got seasonality of that. We usually ban fishing in spawning and that season, or when larvae or fish eggs are usually found. We have several government departments involved in regulating, monitoring, surveillance and control of these activities of fishermen. Aquaculture development is one of the recent this thing. We have got very large 36 1 hectare pond producing 1.5 to 2 tons of fresh live streams a day. Besides that, we have pearl culture, aquaculture, where oyster culture is being done under the aquaculture program because oysters are part of Arab culture, and the UAE is proud to have those things in recent time. Because of this temperature, water quality change and all these things, we are not getting many natural ones. So aquaculture technique is used now to develop oysters and do pearl culture. Issues and challenges are many. We have got several problems: dredging, landfilling, like wastewater discharge, overfishing, ballast water like release of water, then we have got coral bleaching. So those things are there. These are partly human, partly natural or for this region, and issues have challenged us. Turtle nesting season has changed. Turtles are coming late, going early. So the nesting season has really become, out of 90 days, now we are getting 75 days. Seabirds are nesting and their seasonality is now like extended. So they, instead of 2 clutches, they are laying 3 clutches and not going in time. So there are so many other problems. Sea level rise issue if comes, then most of our turtle nesting and bird nesting grounds will be underwater. So these are some of the issues related to climate change, and we have, issues such as like seagrasses. Recent study shows that seagrasses are in threshold limit. More temperature, we are going to lose these grasses. We have 3 species of seagrasses: dugongs and turtles. Green turtles, they are foraging on that, and that is their only diet. Coral bleaching is another thing, and we have low species diversity, high temperature, high salinity. So under this harsh condition, we have been really under stress. Braca nuclear power plant, Abu Dhabi, the environmental issues. Currently, Abu Dhabi is building this power plant. The EIA predicts impact to marine environment, and it is predicted that corals and seagrass habitats are going to be endangered, like impacted more, and several endangered species will be affected by that, and they will be significantly impacted. The impacts are being assessed, and mitigation compensation plans are being developed. Once it reaches the operational stage, we will have to be ready for that situation. Protection approach, we have federal laws, we have got international convention like signatory to CBD, IOC, Sea Turtle, UNEP, dugong conservation plans. We have federal laws, we have several EIA requirement and restrictions on project mitigation plans are implemented. We have independent bodies that monitor these mitigation plan implementations. We have marine protected area that we use for protection of species as well as habitats. As I told you, large percentage of dugongs and turtles live within that. And this is the first protected area, Maraha Marine Protected Area, declared as Biosphere Reserve by UNESCO because of our successful protection of species and habitats. We have in the western region, we have got another protected area, which is 2,500 square kilometer, and we also have dugong, turtles, seagrass, mangroves, and corals in a large extent. Their corals are plenty, but most of the corals are dead, most of the coral reefs are dead. Our objective of the protected area is to conserve and sustain these natural resources. Because of this coastal development, including nuclear plant which is coming up, we have to have some areas where all these indicator species or flagships, umbrella species are living and critical habitats are protected. Current situation is that we have little over 5% of the marine area under protection, but we have a 2030 vision where we are planning to have more than 12% of, more than 10% of these areas protected, and we have more areas, terrestrial areas also protected. So these are in the planning stage, and we have been trying our best to manage protected area in the best possible way so that our endangered species and their critical habitats are conserved. Thank you.